Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting up to Carlisle. Have drawn 0-0 away from home at Walsall. It's a result I'm not very happy with, to be perfectly honest with you. I just think it's such a missed opportunity. You know, we could have gone into second today had everything gone well. And as it stands, we're out of the top three altogether. Stockport take our place. Stevenage have a game in hand on us as well. You know, it was a real opportunity to go above some other teams today, and we haven't taken it. And, you know, we're playing Northampton, we're playing Stockport coming up. You can look at that one or two ways. You can look at it and think, look, if we win them two games, we're definitely in them top three. Or you can look at them games as we've had two easy games now, we haven't won them both. And now we're playing two very difficult teams that we're perhaps not favourites to beat because they're both above us. And look, it brought to fruition something I've been saying for quite a few weeks now, and that's that in these games when we're drawn 0-0, towards the end of the game there's no urgency to win it. There's absolutely no urgency to win it. I think it happened Stevenage, Bradford, both of them games. I don't think there was any sort of real effort towards the end of the game to win it. I think you can say the same for Swindon even going back. Even though we did end up winning it, it was only through a mistake from Swindon that we managed to do it. Gillingham was the same, and we've paid the full price for that with Gillingham getting a goal at the end. And, you know, against these bottom half teams, this time as well, we're we're a man up with, half an hour left to go, and they look the better team. You know, it's frustrating because there's no urgency to go and win these 0-0 games. They seem happy with draws, which is what really frustrates me. Coming towards the end of that game, we weren't trying to go and win it. I think we were more than happy with 3 points. There was no urgency to get up the pitch, which there should have been. There was no real fight towards the end of the game today, and I think you need that. And if you want to finish in the top three, which is obviously our goal now, you need to go and win that. And it's frustrating that we didn't, because we're playing against a not very good team with a man down. If we're really serious about going up this season, that's a game we need to go and win, and we haven't. And to be honest, we could have lost it. You know, there was some good chances Walsall had, and they looked the better team when they went a man down. And I know that sometimes happens, but you've got to be frustrated as one of the Carlisle players. If I was Paul Simpson, I'd be absolutely fuming with that. It's a really big opportunity that they just haven't taken. And look, Walsall's a long trip for these fans, and it's another game we haven't scored in, which obviously we sort of broke the curse against Tranmere. Of that 4-game run we went without scoring. And as usual, the defence were on top again. I think the midfield played okay. I think it was just the general approach that the team had. When we played it along the floor, we looked fine. Why are we playing hoofball to Christian Dennis? He's a very good striker, but he's not big enough. If you're going to do that, start with Ryan Edmondson. And Walsall are a team you can't do that against. They've got Manny Monfort at the back. An absolute monster of a centre-back. You can't play long balls up to him. It doesn't work. And I could have told you that from the start of the game. I don't know why we were trying to do it. And look, they defended well, like they always do. Walsall are known for their good defence. And we just couldn't break them down. And, look, the referee was on our side a little bit as well. I think the referee gave us the rub of the green, especially in the second half. Look, I think we definitely should have had a penalty in the first half. And I think the referee kind of knew that going into the second half, which is why he favoured us a bit. The red card for me, not a red card. I watched it on iFollow, not a red card. It just isn't a red card. It's a weird one, because obviously I'm happy about it. But now Walsall fans can say, oh, even when you're paying the refs, you still can't win. Which is very true, because that shouldn't have been a red. We shouldn't have been given that advantage. And even when we've been given that unfair advantage, we haven't taken it. It's such a frustrating game. I don't think we played well at all. I think McCalmont played well. I think Jack Armour played well. And I think Thomas Hawley was very strong. I think Thomas Hawley, I haven't given credit much this season, but he's had a good few games recently, Thomas. But look, we've got 2 home games coming up, and I think that's another problem we've been having, is that we're playing far too many away games. And for a club as far north as we are, I know Paul Simpson says we can't use it as an excuse, but you're travelling pretty much the length of the country every single week. I think we had 3 away games in a row, and we've had another now just after the Tranmere game. It feels like ages since I'd been at Brunton Park when I went to Tranmere. We've got some home games coming up now, and maybe that's the key to us finishing higher up this season, because we've played a lot better at home from what I've seen. But yeah, today was a real missed opportunity, and I'm not happy with it one bit, to be honest. But it is what it is. We're still right up there at the top, and I'm getting sick of saying this because I always seem to be saying, "Oh, we didn't. It's not the result, but we're still up there," And we need to start taking advantage of these things because just think of where we would be had we pushed forward in a few of those games. Had we gone ahead and beat Bradford. Had we gone ahead and beat Stevenage. Had we gone ahead and won today, we'd be in such a better position. We'd be in second easily. And look, it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We weren't expected to be this high up come the start of the season, but priorities change and expectations change as you go through a season. And I think a lot of the fans now expect us to finish in the top three, and I think they've got every right to with the sort of chances we've had to get into the top three. We're on 70 points now, which is a very good points tally. And I think, to be fair to them, it is a very, very strong league this season. I think Stockport, who are in the top three now, who have somehow dragged themselves into that top three race, I've always said about them, they've always been a strong team, and you could tell that when we played them down at their place. It was an away game I went to. I think it was the first away game of the season that I could get to. Man, they played well, and they're a very good team, Stockport. And you'd expect so with the wages and the money they're throwing about, but look, it's a very rare opportunity Carlisle have to get into the top three in League Two, I think, and Paul Simpson knows that, and the club knows that. This is a very rare opportunity that we've got now with the sort of budget we've got to be fighting this end of the table, and if we don't take advantage of it now, we could live to regret it forever. Because at the end of the season, if we don't get promoted, I feel like it's going to be this game that we look back on in frustration. You're a man up, you're on the front foot with half an hour to go. The fact that we haven't gone on and won that, it's just not good enough, really. And it's a downer, it is, but look, we had such a good result and such a good crowd against Tranmere, and the whole club was on and up, and I really enjoyed that day. We just need to go and win next week, because if we win next week, we're in that top three. We win the week after, we're easily second, and it's that kind of league at the minute, where it's so close at the top and so close at the bottom as well. And it seems like not really many of the top teams are in really, really good form other than Stockport. Stevenage, Northampton and us are all dropping points nearly every week now. They're all faltering, all three of them, and it just takes one team to get a grasp, get a good run together coming the end of the season. And Paul Simpson's been good at that throughout his career, especially with Carlisle the first time round in 2005. And look, it's still very, very possible us going up this season, but I think this is going to be one we look at very, very negatively as a missed chance come the end of the season if we finish 4th or 5th. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that game. Very brave team selection. We went with the same team as last week, which seems to be, I can't remember the last time that happened, just sticking with the same team. And one thing I want to mention as well before I go, there is absolutely no way Amari Patrick should be starting next week. He brings no threat. He upped his game a little bit at Tranmere, obviously got the assist. But now the more I think about it, the more I don't think Tranmere really opposed him too much, and he was given far too much free space and the opportunity to do that. He's just not effective as he used to be. He's just not as... He doesn't have the confidence to take a man on, and it seems like he's lost a yard of pace. Maybe that's through injuries or whatnot, but he can't be starting next week because he was god-awful today. You get the ball, and you just know he wasn't going to do anything with it. And that's the sign of a player that needs a break, I think, when he gets the ball and you know he's not going to do anything with it, which is what seemed to happen a lot with Amari Patrick today. He'd get the ball, and a lot of the times he'd foul his man. He'd get the ball, he'd take a heavy touch, and then foul his man. That happened 3 or 4 times today. And he hasn't had a good game in a while now, other than arguably Tranmere, and I don't know how he keeps starting, because Ryan Edmondson always, every single week, looks better when he comes on for Patrick. And Edmondson's a favourite of Simpson as well. He's Simpson's player. Patrick isn't really a Simpson signing. So it really confuses me that Patrick's still starting, and I don't expect him to next week, and I don't want him to next week. And you look at Patrick, I think he'd be better as a player off the bench. You bring him on when everyone else is tired, and he that almost makes up for that yard of pace that he's lost. So yeah, next week I would probably start very similar lineup. Obviously Jack Ellis has gone off injured again, which is a pain that we really could have done without. We've just had our 2 best right backs come back, and within 2 weeks they're both injured again, and we're going to have to go back to either using Jordan Gibson or Joel Senior. which is really annoying. I hope he's not out for too long, but with injuries at the minute, Morgan Feeney off till the end of the season, Finn back out at the end of the season. Knowing our luck, he'll probably be out for about 7 years. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and I would probably start a very similar lineup next week if Jack Ellis going to start. Fine, start him, but I'd swap Patrick for Edmondson, and that's probably the only change I would make. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bit of a downer this week, but hopefully we can pick it up next week. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and in a bit.